So I'm going to talk about Wales and Australia and their second test in Australia this weekend. I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers, and to continue the theme, which has been the running theme, if I had to pick one running theme, maybe two, on my trip to South Africa so far, yeah, two, they would be, number one, South Africans absolutely love their rugby, and number two, South Africans are so blooming friendly. I've just done my first workout here at it's CrossFit Cochin, just outside Umhlanga. How amazing to be able to work out outdoors. It's an absolute game changer. The weather here, as I keep saying, is nicer now in the middle of winter than it is in Manchester back home in the summer. And I've eaten so much meat and been handed so many brandy and cokes and beers in my time here that I needed to come and punish my body. So I found the nearest CrossFit box to where I am and just did a workout. But feel a lot better for it. I'll be back. Onto this game. Right, so this is what the video is about, not about that. Australia against Wales. Right, I'm going to spend more time talking about Wales than Australia because Australia have a positive story to tell right now, and actually they just need to keep the wagons rolling. But just to briefly say on Australia, and by the way, before I get into that, please give the video a thumbs up and leave your comments down below in the channel. I really appreciate. I'll be down there with you in the comments. Welsh fans, I'm fascinated to know what you have to say about your team. But on Australia, one test match in the summer of, or winter there in 2024 is better than the whole of 2023 under Eddie Jones, isn't it? It's remarkable. And actually, yes, there's been some personnel changes, but I think fundamentally what Joe Schmidt has done has just pumped up the tyres of these Australian players. Their morale just looked ruined, looked absolutely shot under Eddie Jones. And I'm actually, generally speaking, an Eddie Jones fan. I think he did an amazing job with Japan. He's done a really good job with Australia in the past. I think he did, broadly speaking, a good job with England. But strange 2023 under Eddie Jones. Really odd. And, oh, that's a dog. Sorry, I thought, there's a dog, something just on my leg. I was like, what's that? It's a dog. Hello, mate, you all right? Cute dog. I tend to find every CrossFit box, even my one at home, has several dogs. That's a cute one. But I thought, this is a land where everything's trying to eat you. So anyway, back to it. Yeah, so Joe Schmidt has just fundamentally rejuvenated the squad and they just look happy to be there. And they got the win. It's hard to judge exactly how good Australia are because they're playing against Wales, but they got the win. So can't knock it. A confidence builder. They had attitude. You look at the way Liam Wright played, new captain, he looked like he was desperate to squeeze every little bit of juice out of the lemon, and he did. And then you got Tom Wright, looked really good. Tom Liner as well was another positive. What other positives are there? The back row overall for Australia looked good. The replacement prop, Kalia, on debut, looked really good. So yeah, great start. Wales then, let's talk about Wales. Anything you'd add on Australia then? Any concerns? I guess game one, you've got to take that, haven't you? But any concerns, I would let me know in the comments. Or more positives that I've not mentioned. The scrum, there you go. Which would be one of the negatives when we move over to Wales. Let's move over to Wales. That was poor, wasn't it? That was really poor. Up against a scratch Australia team. The thing that worries me most about Wales, and again, I'm really interested to know what you think about this, doesn't appear to me like the game plan has evolved. When I think back to the times, excuse me, under Warren Garland, where they've actually played really good rugby, and it's happened in patches. Was it the second half against Scotland in the Six Nations? I was there in Cardiff for that one. I think it was Scotland. And then another game in the Six Nations the same. Maybe it was the England match. I can't remember. Anyway, the times when they've looked good is when they've had to abandon Warren Gatland's game plan because they're getting absolutely panned and they've just thrown caution to the wind. And that's when, weirdly, Wales look good. But Warren Gatland, who is, generally speaking, and has been through his whole career, a master tactician, he looks like he's absolutely bereft of ideas and he just wants to keep trying to get Wales to play this super structured, simple game plan. And I don't know, I can't imagine Warren Gatland is saying to his players, I'll tell you what, why don't you go out there and just pass the ball to someone who's in a really static position and has no forward momentum whatsoever and then gets smashed behind the gain line. Because if that's what Warren Gatland is telling his team to do, they're executing his game plan perfectly. But I don't know what's going on. And bearing in mind it's Warren Gatland. When I think about how Wales fans felt after Wayne Pivac, so happy to have Gatland back. and it's just not happening. Now, as I've said before, the Welsh Rugby Union have a massive role to play there in all of the failures and the issues that Wales have got. They have managed the union horrendously, and the lack of talent they've got, the players they've lost, like Emmanuel Faye-Boso to England, that was completely controllable. And look, everyone's really good here. They're really good. They're just like, yeah, handstand walks, no worries, easy. It's humbling, actually, that workout I just did. It was good. I'm glad I did it. Anyway, yeah, a game plan would be the one thing. At this point, you've lost the first test. I reckon Wales fans would, much like with the Six Nations, they accepted the defeats when they thought, you know what, we gave it a proper crack. Warren Garland, just let this team off the leash. That's how, when I think about great Wales teams, they've always had that in their back pocket. Yes, when they won Grand Slams with all those players, Alan Wynne-Jones and co, under Warren Gatland, they were really hard to beat, really, really tough to beat. And Warren Gatland's clearly trying to do that. But also they had players like Shane Williams, James Hook back in the day, players who just had a bit of something and they were given the scope to just go do it. So Warren Gatland, just let them off the leash. That's what I say about Wales. Issues for Wales, front row. Tell you what, Adam Jones and Gethin Jenkins just feels like a long time ago now, doesn't it? Archie Griffin hasn't started a Premiership match, and he started an international match for Wales. They're in a pickle. And if you want to play this super structured, solid set piece and structured game plan like Warren Gatland appears to want to do, he's left a load of Ospreys behind, who actually are probably the most equipped to play that game plan out of all the players that are available for Wales. So I don't get it. I feel, and again, I take no pleasure in this. World Rugby needs a strong Wales. It needs a strong Australia. Given the fact there's a British and Irish Lions tour next year in Australia, a 2-0 series win for Australia would be big for the sport overall. Bad for Wales, obviously, but big for the sport. So positives. Let me try and have a glass half full looking at Wales. Aaron Wainwright, positive, massive positive. He's been so good the whole time in recent months. Ellis Bevan, I thought looked quite good at scrum half. Looked decent. The maul was good. But you know what? And dovetailing it back to Eddie Jones, where I sort of started on this video, one of the best things Eddie Jones ever did was, as Japan coach, recognise the limitations that his Japan team had. And he said, right, we're going to play a totally different way that suits the strengths of our team. And he played a completely different type of game that suited his players. And that is how they beat South Africa in 2015. That is how they beat Scotland and Ireland in 2019. That's how Japan masterminded some incredible matches. I know Eddie Jones wasn't in charge in 2019, but you take my point. He revolutionised the way they play. And I know Warren Gatland has got that ability in him. And I just want to see that. Look at the players you've got. All right, fine. There's some areas where Wales have got big issues and not great players. But do something that suits the players you've got and just have a go. Come on, what have we got to lose at this point? There's my thoughts on Wales. Again, as I say, yes, I am an Englishman. Yes, they are a great rival. I take no pleasure in it. I want Wales to be good and strong for the good of the game, for the good of Six Nations, World Cups in the future, and just the fact it is a rugby mad country that is finding it very, very hard to love this team right now. And I love the fact the fans are still staying positive as much as they can, but let me know how positive or otherwise you're feeling. And once again, I'm just going to say thank you to CrossFit Caution. I'll be back here again for more workouts. Absolutely class. Feel so much better. I've been naughty this holiday. I've made bad life choices, but a better one this evening. I'll see you on the next video.